have to look at a series of heartbreaks that the India women's cricket team has had across the big ICC events and even the Commonwealth Games for that matter, I think the list just keeps piling on and on and on. Well, you can start with the 2017 ODI World Cup final. Then in 2018, there was the T20 World Cup. Then after that, obviously in the Commonwealth Games also, wherein you lost to Australia in the finals, had to settle for the silver medal. Let's just go back to last year also, wherein you lost to Australia in the semi-finals, and now once again that series of heartbreaks has continued because India have suffered their second loss in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, this time to the reigning champions Australia in the group stage, a team that they have already beaten twice previously in the T20 World Cup. But then what this second loss has pretty much confirmed for India is that they are all but out of the tournament.
Let us not call this a heartbreak, okay? Let us just, for far too long, India's cricket fans have been living with that very, you may say, misleading thing. स्वर्ण पदक भले जीता हो ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने, दिल जीत लिया भारत ने. Forget it.
Something that we used to associate with the Bangladesh men's team, na? A lot of time.
Today there is no place for timid, directionless batting.
But Siddharth, before we get to the batting, let's just talk about fielding. It was horrendous once again.
A team that doesn't field well does not deserve to be in the knockout stages of the T20 World Cup. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah.
You were playing even worse than a club team against New Zealand, a New Zealand team that had not won 10 T20Is, and you lost by a huge margin against them. Now, because what has happened in the net run rate situation, it's very clear now. India have not won. The equation for New Zealand is then just win. Just win versus Pakistan tomorrow, and India are out of the tournament. Because today, Harmanpreet Kaur may very well have gotten a 50, but I'm sorry, you left it too late. And I'll tell you why. Sure, you gave that small false flicker of hope that yes, they might do it. But you know very well that India's problem in the past decade or so, lack of power hitters in the death, and Australia's alpha mentality means that you had to be ahead of the asking rate. You allowed it to go to 10. Shefali tried, but Shefali, as you have seen, it's always been a flash in the pan.
Yep.
Mandana's woes have continued. Let us give Harmanpreet her credit. Okay, she's had 33 in 2023. Her average has been 33. 2024 also, it's been middling. But far too often has she not gotten India over the line against Australia. Look at it. Today, the start that Harmanpreet had, every delivery she was either trying to paddle sweep it or sweep it. And
yes,
she was not getting the boundaries that much. All that risk for just one run. She tried that paddle sweep in 2022 in the Commonwealth Games, but it resulted in her downfall. Jemima Rodriguez tried, but she also fell. That 59-run partnership that was there between Deepti Sharma and Harmanpreet Kaur gave India some hope.
Jemima's pull shot was actually a setup by Australia, and
Yeah.
really have to credit McGrath here for the field placement that she specifically had at the deep square leg position, because that wasn't just about Jemima looking for that pull shot so as to clear the deep square leg boundary. That was clearly designed, the fielder was clearly designed to be there, and even have to credit the bowler also for keeping the pace a little low. But then I think if we talk about the kind of batting performances that India have had, I think once again they lack partnerships after Shefali Verma got off to a good start. Smriti Mandhana, once again, well, she's been a good player for India, but then when it comes to those crunch situations or those big matches, well, her bat has stayed silent. But then when Deepti Sharma and Harmanpreet Kaur were batting, at one stage it looked like that India could really get the job done. Yes, to an extent what Siddharth is saying is right, that India did allow the game to stretch for far too long, but then the over in which Deepti Sharma hit those sweeps or those boundaries, it really felt like India could really do it. But then what Australia showed just in the very next over was monster mentality. There was Phoebe Litchfield, if I'm not wrong.
There was two instances. Megan Schutt delivering the over of the tournament, wherein she just allowed one run in the 17th over.
Yeah.
Then Phoebe Litchfield getting a direct hit to Richa Ghosh, ensuring that she was done with.
True.
But Harmanpreet very well knew that her lower order does not have any power hitters. When Deepti Sharma, the classic case was Deepti Sharma, toe-ended the shot and she holed out to deep mid-wicket.
Yeah.
Then Australia's game awareness. Shreyanka Patil got stumped off a wide bowled by Annabel Sutherland, but Beth Mooney, game awareness next level. And because of that, she whipped the bails off. It took a long time, gone.
Yeah.
So Shreyanka gone, Vastrakar gone. Then you look at it, everybody else capitulated meekly. Harmanpreet Kaur may very well have had a 50, but I'm sorry, this will not elicit good reactions because she started off too slowly. Two boundaries that she had hit got her strike rate over 100, but with that time it was 40 of 40. I'm sorry, she took it too late. Taking the game deep does not work in the Indian women's cricket team because you don't have power hitters lower down the order. Today, who made the difference in the Australian team? It was Phoebe Litchfield. Phoebe Litchfield hit 15 of 9, 1 4 and 1 6. Although Australia lost wickets, that ensured they got to 150 plus. Those runs by Phoebe Litchfield towards the end, combined with Ellis Perry's 32, gave Australia that momentum. And look at it. She got runs of a spinner. Molyneux bowled in the death overs. Ash Gardner bowled in the death overs. Megan Schott and Annabel Sutherland. Those two really stepped up. Annabel Sutherland, I would say, give her the man of the player of the match because she was simply sublime. But Harmanpreet's knock today will have mixed reactions on social media. They say, oh, well fought Harman, bravely played Harman. But Commonwealth Games, 2023 T20 World Cup semi-final, those two instances, today if she has to be angry, she has to be angry on herself.
Absolutely.
That is the thing. And Australia, because of that, now look, there was a situation, India were not going to chase the target down with 1 over to spare.
Yeah.
Now India have lost. So no equation, no scenario at this point. Simple. If New Zealand beat Pakistan, New Zealand through. If by a miracle Pakistan beats New Zealand, then India are through.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Pakistan's net run rate is absolutely woeful after they are hammering by Australia.
And India's net run rate after this loss to Australia is plus 0.32 in comparison to New Zealand's plus 0.28. So basically what New Zealand just have to do is that they have to avoid losing to Pakistan. Even a 1 run or a 1 wicket defeat would be enough for them to qualify for the final 4.
Exactly. And India, if they look back on their campaign, they'll look back at the start that they had. They had a good start in the power rate, but they lost wickets.
Yeah.
Now, India's batting composition, unfortunately, is such that if you try the big hits and if you lose wickets, you don't have the power hitters.
Exactly.
So you're in a catch-22. At that time, Mandana's poor form has hurt them. Mandana fell to Molyneux again in a T20 World Cup. Mandana falling to Molyneux. It happened in 2020 where she just tried to go over the top, but Molyneux got the wicket. And here again tried a kind of a half-hearted short arm pull, but she missed it. Australia also didn't have their best days in the field, although some instances were brilliant, but they took catches better, and Richa Ghosh had a horrible day behind the stumps. So many extras conceded. When you look back on those small margins, extras conceded, lack of intent in the middle overs. India have only themselves to blame. True. Australia, mentality monsters. As you said in women's cricket, it's Australia up here, the rest of the nations are trying to play catch up. That is the situation. So unfortunately at this point, India's campaign is on the edge. If Pakistan now on 14th, everybody will be rooting for Pakistan then. They have to beat New Zealand, but on current form, this Pakistan team, it looks very hard for them. So New Zealand will know now what to do. Simple equation, New Zealand win, through. Australia, 4 out of 4. The main question, who can stop Australia? Because
England or South Africa?
Tomorrow, it's actually a very tricky situation. If England beat West Indies, then England and South Africa go through.
True.
But if West Indies beat England, then it could be West Indies, South Africa going through, or West Indies, England, depending on the net run rate situation. So it is an unfortunate end to India's league's campaign so far. Whether they'll make it to the next week,
we'll come to know
on
in 24 hours time.
In 24 hours time, India's campaign is on the edge. Well done, Australia, for your fantastic effort. It's just very, very frustrating at this point in time to see that what has gone on. So we are taking comments, Shivam. Okay, so we'll just wait for what our family members have to say. I'm sure they will be bitterly disappointed because
Take a few comments, yeah.
we'll take a few comments, but I'm sure all the talk will be on Harmanpreet.
Yeah.
The knock that she played, I am very much sure it's not going to give a lot of confidence to others. And everybody was saying, can it be equated to the KL Rahul knock in the 2023 ODI World Cup final? I doubt it because, see, Harmanpreet struggled to get going at this stage. So let's see how that happens. Sarat Chandra, Sid sir, if these are the results we get, who will support women's and we are really okay with being Ada fan? And BCCI should take harsh decision on them. Mandana needs to be dropped. But again,
I think this Indian women's cricket team is actually in need of some kind of a revamp. I think with all due respect to the performances that Harmanpreet has had as a skipper and obviously as a batter, hasn't really been that consistent, but then has been with on and off with the form. I think India probably would need to look past her as far as the next T20 World Cup is concerned, and maybe for a few other players also. But more importantly, since the time the appointment of Amol Mazumdar and the fielding coach Munish Bali has been there, I think India's fielding has really dipped, and this is where India would have to make sure that the necessary course correction is required, because I once remember how Virat Kohli said that we fielded ourselves to the Champions Trophy win in 2013, and if India, the women's cricket team, really have to make sure that they are closer or to basically win an elusive world title, be it in the ODIs or T20s, fielding is going to be very important.
And today the fielding improved slightly because Radha Yadav came in at the last possible moment.
Yeah.
Because if Asha Shobana was there, I'm sorry, she's a very poor outfielder. Radha Yadav took those catches, and remember, it was a last moment decision because Asha Shobana injured herself. Now, how could India make a change immediately after that? They requested the Australian team, the Australian women's team said, no problem, go ahead and make the change.
Yeah.
So they got the thing, but Priyanshu points out, just 37 runs from 11th to 17th. Smriti is number 18 but never performs in a pressure run chase. Harman started hitting very late. Poor game awareness in fielding, and why give single to tail?
Exactly.
But again, you had to, what could they have done? Harmanpreet hitting 2 sixes. I'm sorry, today in this entire knock, she didn't hit a single six. Only 1 6 came, and that was of Shefali Verma.
Yeah.
But look at this particular stat which lost you. I'll tell you which was the stat. When Australia were batting, 6 extras, 4 wides, 1 leg by, 1 no ball. Richa Ghosh was having a terrible game behind the stump. So that's why that is the currency. But yes, 37 runs. Timid batting. And that's why Australia will capitalize on those moments. They will not ensure that they let go of that. So Aussies too powerful. Ellis Perry for RCB and also Abhinay Vijay Kumar, but this is an Ellis Perry who's not operating full throttle.
Yeah,
on the field, she dropped a catch and she's not bowling that because of that shoulder injury that she suffered a couple of years
contributing
ago.
with the bat.
Ellis is the gold standard.
Yep.
Let us make way. There are, even with no Alyssa Healy, even without Taylor Vlaeminck, you have 5 gold standards in Ash Gardner, you have one in Megan Schutt, you have one in Talia McGrath, you have one in Beth Moon, Phoebe Litchfield, Ellis Perry, 6 of them. Gold standards in their own way. So, yes, it's very unfortunate. I don't know what Harmanpreet will have to say for this, but yes, it's dipped 0.3 from 0.5, it's come to 0.38, and New Zealand just have to win. 0.34 if I'm not mistaken. 3-2.
Yeah.
And New Zealand is plus 0.28.
Yeah.
But if New Zealand have a lower net run rate, they can get more points.
Yeah.
So tomorrow it is New Zealand versus Pakistan, followed by England versus West Indies, the last 2 league games. If Pakistan beat New Zealand, India will have their campaign either on the 17th or on the 18th, followed by the final on the 20th.
Yeah.
But if New Zealand win, in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma terms, game over. And they only have themselves to blame for it. So thank you so much folks for joining us. Heartbreak for India, not really. Frustrating for India, absolutely. Far too often it's happened against Australia. Somewhere down the line it has to change, but not in this World Cup, at least not for the time being. So from me and Sid Gulati, it is bye-bye. Thank you so much for your comments. We'll be back with more updates from Sports Today. Keep watching, subscribe, and do tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. Bye-bye. Good night.